This is a true crime story. True and just a little crazy. It's been featured in the New York Times, CNBC's American Greed, ABC, NBC, CBS, and now a book that you can get for free signed out on the table. It was an $80 billion gamble. The $80 billion, how a lottery ticket, hot dog, and Bigfoot helped solve the largest lottery fraud in U.S. history. Let's start with the ticket. That's the actual ticket on the screen. The actual ticket that was purchased at a convenience store. A rather large gentleman walked in, picked up a ticket for a hot lotto game. That hot lotto game was valued at $16.5 million, a jackpot. Hey, and why shouldn't he? His name was Eddie Tipton. He was the computer programmer, the security guy at the multi-state lottery. He wrote the code to pick the numbers on the computer. He also was the security information director for the most powerful game in the world, Powerball. But that was his unlucky day. You see, he'd already picked up 4 or 5 jackpots over the last 10 years. He thought it was a simple one. He dressed in a hoodie and walked in to disguise himself a little bit. But he was unlucky for a couple of reasons. Number one, in Iowa, you can't claim a lottery ticket anonymously. Nor can you play or claim a ticket if you are part of a vendor and have the inside scoop on what happens with the lottery. He also was unlucky because in that store, they recorded both audio and video. Now, most stores have video, of course, as you walk into any convenience store. But only 4 stores in the state of Iowa out of 2,400 had audio, and he was unlucky enough to walk in. Well, he took that ticket out the door. No big story here yet, folks. And he headed for Texas, his hometown. And when he got to Texas, he gave the ticket to a friend, said, hey, I think you may want to play this ticket. It looks like it might be a winner at some point. And it went around from Houston, Texas, to the guy saying, hey, I just won $16.5 million, gave it to his lawyer, who called another lawyer in New York, said, you cash this, I'll give you $500,000, and then ultimately made its way to Canada. That took about 10 months. Well, during that time, of course, we're saying, hey, we've got a winner. Check your billfolds, check above your visor, you may have the winner. But no one came in for the first few months. We kept barking, we want to give this money away. Then we had people come in and say, hey, I think I won. I think the clerk stole the ticket from me. We even had someone call and say, hey, I think this is organized crime. Well, am I going to get a horse head in my bed? My husband, I think, is an organized crime. He's a truck driver. I haven't seen him for 2 months. So if they come in and claim this ticket, be sure to check the background for organized crime. But about 11 months after the ticket was bought, we get a call from a lawyer in Canada. He said, my name's Philip Johnston. I'm a retired lawyer. I have the ticket, and he gave us the numbers. This was the ticket. He gave us numbers on here, the very secure little ticket here with a lot of things we can check. We knew he had the ticket. So we asked some basic questions. We have to know who bought the ticket. We said, okay, what were you wearing when you walked in the store? He wasn't thinking. He said, I was wearing a tweed suit. I'm 78 years old. But I bought the ticket. I want to send it in. Just send me the money. Ding, ding, ding. No, sir. We saw the video, and it was somebody in a hooded sweatshirt. Well, it's my ticket. We're coming in. We'll be in soon. So we called the DCI and the Attorney General's office. We have a felony fraud here. We're going to arrest these folks when they come in. Well, they didn't show up. He called back and admitted he told a fib. And he sent the ticket back to the lawyer in New York who tried to come in and claim it. We said, no way, Jose, unless you can tell us who bought the ticket. He says, you know what? My client's too wealthy. He doesn't want the publicity. We're not going to tell you. We're just going to withdraw the claim. Who has enough money to withdraw a claim for $16.5 million? Ding, 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 the investigation begins. It took almost a year. We knew the gentleman in New York and the gentleman in Canada, they were associated because the trust that they tried to claim, Hexam Investment Trust, the president of the trust was Philip Johnston in Canada, and the guy that was the trustee was the guy in New York. So we talked to him. DCI went out and finally interviewed him a year later, and they ask a lot of questions, but it boils down to this question, which I love, I'm going to keep all my life. Sir, would you like to be the witness or the defendant? Guess what? Both decided to be the witness. And they both pointed to a gentleman named Robert Rhodes in Houston, Texas. Robert Rhodes and his lawyer were the one that sent it. But we couldn't figure out why Robert Rhodes didn't come forward. He didn't look like the person on the video, because you can get a picture if you just Google him on Facebook. So they tried to go down and talk to him. He always avoided them, never came in. So we really didn't have any answers. And we were running into, it took 4 years from the time the ticket was purchased. There's the statute of limitations. You could actually charge someone. Didn't seem like a big case. It was Iowa. And when we talk about $80 billion, and why do we call this the $80 billion gamble, it's because all of my colleagues are saying, don't you dare get out of the press with this. Just pay it, because some states will pay anonymous winners. Just pay it, because we don't want this in ours, because $80 billion, you're gambling with our money if this thing turns south and players don't trust the lottery anymore. Well, we continue to say we want to do the right thing. So we decided we've got 3 months left in the statute of limitations. Let's release the video and audio. We put it out on the website, had a big press conference, and lo and behold, people started calling, hey, that's Eddie Tipton. Eddie Tipton? He's the guy that programs the computer for the multi-state lottery, and his friend wins. How are they connected?